we get to have, how often does this happen where it's the first day of the month and it's a Monday? I don't know. That just feels like such a fresh, like, start to the whole month. I love it. So we get to hear from one of my friends. I think, I bet you paid attention to her last year big time because you were like, I'm sorry, what? The way that her team grew was so fast and amazing, and it was just something you couldn't help but watch and just applaud. So we get to hear from my friend Diamond Tiffany Weaver, and one of the topics that we talked about her sharing for the first 10 minutes was commitment. And I feel like when you hear this, it just creates in you this that whole plant your flag mentality, and that makes you work in such a way that there is no fear attached to it because you just know this is your home and this is what you're doing. So I'm going to mute myself and let Tiffany take over.
Hey guys. So when Jen and I were talking, I was like, is there anything in particular you want me to touch on? And it was funny because I was going to talk to her about commitment and consistency. That was going to be my suggestion. And she's like, what about commitment? And I was like, okay, it's meant to be. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about commitment and consistency. So first off, let me say this. We just finished a month. And that comes with a whole host of feelings, right? Maybe you had an awesome month and you are feeling on top of the world. You are excited. Your team is moving. Or maybe you felt like want after the month that you had. And in reality, when we have a business, we have the mountaintop months and we have the low months, and that's all normal. It's all part of the process. It's what we tell ourselves about those months. So let me first say this, and I want you guys to sit in this for just a second. You're here. You are here. And so often in life, we say there are no participation trophies. But when you are building a business, there kind of is a little bit of a participation trophy in the sense that commitment and consistency are everything. They are everything in your business. When my team ranked up super quickly last year, everybody's like, okay, girl, what's the secrets? What are you doing? How are you doing this? And I was like a little overwhelmed at first, going, I don't know, what am I doing? I'm not doing anything any different. And my husband was like, but you showed up consistently. It was not that I all of a sudden started working my business those months that I was double and triple ranking and got to diamond really quickly. I worked my business for a really long time in seasons where it was hard to show up because I wasn't earning the incentives. I wasn't earning the prizes. I wasn't earning the trips. And it's so hard to have that commitment and that consistency when you aren't seeing the results. But that's sort of how network marketing goes. That'll happen to you. Maybe you're sitting there and you're like, gosh, I don't know. I'm showing up, I'm doing the things, I'm posting, I'm sharing, I'm reaching out. Nothing's happening. What's going on? And then in just the blink of an eye, you can have this month where you're signing people left and right, and people are going to be going, "Oh my gosh, Mary Beth or Deborah, or what are you doing? How are you doing this?" And you're going to go, what am I doing? What am I? But the reality is, you're planting those seeds. I got so tired of hearing about planting seeds early on in my business, but you know what? They were right. Everything I was doing was planting seeds. Sometimes you get tired of hearing things. You're like, gosh dang it. Why does Jen Leaf keep telling me this? Why does she keep talking about planting seeds? Because it's true. It's true. And I remember having those moments in my business like, oh, this is what they were talking about. And I was so intentional about building relationships with business builders too. But I was intentional about building relationships with them for months on end when they were like, no, no, I don't think it's right for me. Or I was going to, but we just can't afford it this month. And you're like beating your head against a wall. And then it happens and they join and this magic happens. But you have to stay committed and stay consistent with your business. I mean, I could only imagine the stories of the women, and if there's a man, I don't want to leave you out, but all I see is women right now on my screen. Of the women in this group, we all have things in our lives, really, really hard things. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. The most challenging things that have ever happened in my life have happened since I started my Plexus business. Truthfully, that's been the case. And sometimes we need to take a breather and we need to take a break, but then we have to show back up and we have to stay committed and stay consistent to those goals. And I remember a certain point, my husband was like, look, you got to get in or get out because you're like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I hadn't planted my flag. Like Jen said, I had not completely planted my flag because I was scared. I was scared to be committed. What if I'm all in and I'm 100% committed and it doesn't work out and I don't get to diamond? And I'm the girl sitting here in 10 years as a gold saying, but one day I'm going to get there. But the reality is commitment and consistency is everything in your business. It's how people learn to trust you. It's how your network learns to trust you. I had someone on my team this past month and she was messaging me and she was like, girl, I'm struggling. I'm losing people left and right. I'm afraid, I'm gold and I've lost my rank and I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know. But I can tell you, she's always been the girl that she shows up to the power hours. She works her business. She's consistent with it. She's consistent with her follow-up. And I said, just hang tight, keep doing what you're doing. And she's like, I don't know. I'm not seeing results. And I swear to you, a week later, she said, listen, these girls are coming out of nowhere. Like, where are these people coming from? Telling me, I've been watching you for weeks on end now, and I finally have got to do it. I've got to join. And she was sitting there going, no one wants Plexus. What am I doing wrong? And so many times, and I remember Jen Leith saying this very vividly, whenever I hit, I think is when I hit diamond, maybe, I can't remember, but she and I had this discussion. And I had a girl that, gosh, she wore me out. She's my emerald, but she wore me out trying to get her to join me. I mean, I was like, she would get to the checkout screen, she would leave. She would get to the checkout screen, she would back out. This went on forever. And I remember Jen saying when she finally joined me, her business exploded. She got to emerald in like 6 months. It was insane. And Jen said, you know what's sad? You know what probably what happens in most of those situations is that you would have been frustrated because I was frustrated in my own business, just in just being real. I was frustrated in my own business during that time. And Jen said, you would have quit. And then who would she have joined? Who would she have joined? She either would have joined someone else when she finally was ready, or she wouldn't have joined at all. But that constant doing it, even when I didn't see the results, is what helped my business to explode. So when people ask me, how did you get from gold to diamond in such a short amount of time? And the reality is I was consistent in the months that it sucked. That's really the truth. I was consistent in the months that it sucked. And in the months I was going, okay, God, what the heck am I doing here? Because everybody's leaving or nobody wants Plexus. I remember even at one point in my business saying, I can't give this away for free. What in the world is going on? And the reality is it did happen for me, and it will happen for you guys too. It literally just gives me chills to see a group of people like this, because I know that you guys are showing up and you're being consistent, and it's a brand spanking new month. So I want to leave you guys with this. If you are feeling on top of the world after February, your team is going places, keep going. It's not your time to sit back, sister. You've got to keep going, keep pushing, creating that momentum. We are always working. Even as diamonds, Jen Leith has a bajillion and one diamonds underneath of her. She is showing up, working her business every single day. That's what we do. We show up and we work our businesses. So if you had an amazing month, keep going, keep working your business, keep creating silvers. Don't let the momentum die. And if you had a really bad month where you're feeling like, gosh, I don't know, leave it in February. Leave it, let it go. It's a brand new month, guys. I promise you, you do not know what's around the corner. Last February, I was looking back at my points. Last February, I was sitting at 60 points. I was sitting at 60 points last February. And by the end of April, I was a senior Ruby ambassador. And by the end of June, I was a diamond ambassador. You don't know what is going to happen. So keep showing up to the table, even when it hurts, even when it sucks, even when you don't feel like it. And guys, I promise you will create magic in your businesses, and people will be coming to you saying, what did you do? And you're going to say, I don't know. And I'm going to say, no, I remember she was on that power hour. She was showing up consistently in the times when she wasn't really sure, because that's where your magic is. So I'm excited for you guys. I cannot wait to see what you guys do. It's going to be an awesome month. I'm so excited about March. I'm feeling good about it. So
I've always thought that you're one of the best speakers, and I really think that you could honestly be like an inspirational speaker. It's good. It's so good. And I was sitting here thinking about, have you guys ever gone to the mall and there's like the booth where they give out that like sea salt face care samples, and like they basically attack you in the mall and they're like, take it. And I was thinking about how I'm always like, no, no, I literally avert my eyes down and try not to look at them because I'm like, they're going to say something to me. And you said you couldn't give it away for free. And now I'm not saying you were the guy at the mall, but what I am saying is it's interesting when you have a specific posture that makes people want what you have. And sometimes in those moments of desperation or worry, or we're squeezing it too tight, we become the person giving the samples away at the mall. And when we can let it go and have that open posture, I say to myself every day when people, I'm talking to them, I have to fake this, okay? But I'll say, I really don't care if they join or not. Like I actually say that to myself. So when I go into that conversation with them, I don't have this emotional connection to the rejection. It's like, that's totally sucks for them. That's what I say to myself. I'm like, oh man, they totally missed out. I guess I'll follow up with them later. It is, I'm telling myself that. So when I'm talking to them, they're like, man, she's not pressuring me at all. She's just like, this is what people do and they love it and you're missing out. So anyways, I'm just telling you that. And I like that visual. So we're going to get busy. We're going to get to working right now. Thank you, Tiffany. Super good. Loved it. The first thing that I want you guys to do is you're going to need to kind of close out in your mind February and recap all that happened. And then you're going to need to start setting these March goals. So when I'm going to go into my virtual office, and this is a little tricky because some of you might be silver and some of you might be senior ruby. So I understand there's a different amount of work here, but I'm going to go into my February stats and I'm going to go to my rank up. I'm going to look and see who hit senior ambassador last month. Like who had two people just didn't get that third. I want to know today. So I'm not waiting till the last minute next month or this month to say, you only need one more person. Not to mention the fact that what Tiffany said with people quitting, like, because now these two people are going to have to reorder this month and they're still going to need their third. Why is it that people quit? Well, one is they are not told from the get go, they're not given the expectation to use these products for 60 days. I have no problem asking them to do that. Now, some people do it where they say, you can only sign up as an ambassador if you will commit to 60 days. I wouldn't do that. I don't think you would do that. I feel like that wording, it's just like saying, you can only buy this house if you buy it now. You can't look at it. That's ridiculous. So instead, you say, you know what? The body, it just takes time. And since I know you can get all your money back, I'm going to ask you to commit to 60 days and I'm going to be right there with you. And that is a different way of saying the same thing. And people say yes to it. So that's one thing. The other thing is when people try to quit because they're going to want to, has anyone ever worked out at a gym, especially with a trainer, and they're like, you're going to do 10 box jumps or whatever they're called. And you say over and over again, I can't, ow, I can't. Well, at least I do. That's what I say. Do you think she's like, you're right, you can't get down? No, she's like, but you can. And look at you, you're doing it. And so when someone comes and says, I mean, the products, I don't know, and they're not really working, you are that person saying to them, are you honestly staying committed to them? Or are they on your counter? Like, because I know that happens sometimes. You have to ask the hard questions. And if they say they want to quit, you can say, remember what you told me your goals were. You're going to choose what you want to do, and I'm going to love you anyways. But if you give up now, you're giving up on that testimony that you were creating. You have to learn to say these things. It is strong, heartfelt leadership. So I got on a weird tangent there. Go into your virtual office and start looking at anyone that hit, even just added one, anyone that added two, and you need to have a list of these people because we need to start today. And you say, but Jen, that's my level 3, that's my level 4. I don't care. You message them and say, I just wanted you to know, I saw that you added 2 people. That's amazing. I can't wait for you to help them and help them write their story. Are you thinking about getting a third so you can earn that silver bonus? This is the time. So I'm going to put all this in the chat. Okay, you know what you're doing with that. If there's still more work to be done, just circle back to it. I'm going to make you do something that you're going to hate because people hate doing this and I don't know why. And you know who does a really good job at it is Melissa Eichenhorst. I want you basically to toot your own horn, but it's really not about you, but you're going to think it is because you're going to be like, that makes me look like a braggart. No, it doesn't. I want you to go, and I don't care what it is. I want you to go look at your February stats. It may be how many people you added. And if you're like, well, that doesn't seem like a lot. If you added one person, you need to be proud of that. If you're feeling like that's not good enough, you attract that energy that you feel. If you're like, we added one, like think of the Target lady, Kristen Wiig, we added one person. Like that's what I want you to do. I want you to make a post about what amazing thing happened to you and your team in February. A public post. I'm not talking about on the Jules page or on your team page or in a chat. A public post saying, I just have to share that February was so incredible for me. And I think the world needs positivity. So I want you to hear this is what we accomplished. Blank, blank, blank. Just write it all out. This one lady, her bunion went away. And then I added 5 people myself, and I'm changing lives and my whole team. Da, 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 da. You're going to give yourself and your team a shout out post and use like a really great picture of you. I'm going to give you two more things for us to finish out this power hour. One thing is I'm going to commit to go and make sure all my ones and twos for sure know about the Engage app. I had a girl last night. She ended up deciding to sign up 3 people on the last day of the month and get to silver. And she said, should I tell them about that Engage app? And I didn't tell her about it. She's like, I think I saw a post about it. And I was like, sorry, I didn't tell you about it. And then I wanted to lie and be like, they just came out with it this month. But then I was like, sorry, I forgot. So I'm going to just have to do that. I'm going to go make sure I tell all my ones and twos about the Engage app because they get the 3 free samples and I have not been utilizing those at all. So that's ridiculous. I mean, for crying out loud, they could just mail them out of themselves. But I mean, let's not let them expire for crying out loud. The other thing that I'm going to make sure that I'm doing is checking my perks report. I have a virtual assistant that does that. And I know that that's not for everybody, but I also think if you have a silver to senior gold team, that should not be that hard. Like I understand that the report, I know it's annoying. I get that. And I also know it's awkward when they've already turned it off and you're having to go back and be like, but wait, no, you're going to basically go to them and say, I see that you turned off your subscription. Maybe things are crazy right now, or maybe you have enough product, but I would hate for you to lose your free products. So if you turn it back on, you can always change the date out 2 or 3 months. And that way you keep them on instead of having to do this whole turn off, turn on, turn off, turn on. So commit to both of those things and work through those as well.